Hey, what's going on, everyone? Brad here. And today in this video, I'm going to be going through a couple things that I see pop up as questions all the time. How do I compete with bigger businesses who have bigger budgets or businesses who are practitioners who have more experience or more preeminence in the community? How do I get ideal patients coming in and compete with these businesses? Now, if you're like most of us, there are other businesses in your market that are attracting the same types of people. They're trying to get patients. They're trying to go after pain, back pain, TMJ, whatever that might be. And more often than not, most of these businesses have maybe even been around longer than you. They have more experience. They have more reviews. They have more staff, bigger businesses, that kind of thing. They're really just bigger than your practice. And that means they're going to be bigger in terms of their marketing budget, number of active patients, presence in the community, all of these kind of things. So how do you compete and win against them? Well, the key here is by focusing on one-to-one. And I don't mean one-to-one therapy, although this obviously creating the experience is a big component to it. But I mean one-to-one marketing. Seeing each potential patient or prospective patient as an individual because they are, treating them as unique people because they are, and understanding their psychological triggers are different because the reality is they are. No two people, everyone thinks they have this different issues, but they're really kind of the same issues, but the triggers or psychological triggers to get them to take the actions are different. Now, understanding that it's very rare that a few amount of people who just want to be, seen as everyone in the crowd. Everyone wants to stand out. There's not many people who aspire to just be another number or feel invisible. And a lot of people are getting more frustrated with this, especially with larger businesses, because they just follow into a script or they become a number. In big businesses, this is often the result. It's hard as they grow in order to be able to scale to create a unique patient experience, which is marketable, to create a unique experience for each person, to have marketing that's on a one-to-one level. So the continual chase for more and more in larger businesses, especially like PT Mills or high volume-based clinics or practices, means that each person individually gets less and less attention, less and less communication, and more generic-based communications. So think of all of your experiences with companies that have grown really fast and how it can get lost into the mix and seemingly unforgotten. There's lots of businesses when I went to call them because I had an issue and I got to navigate through 50 different, click this button, press number one, press number two, wait, okay, I'm transferred, then I need to transfer somewhere else. We all get super frustrated with that. So the way we combat this is really simple. We focus on the individual and what makes them unique, their psychological triggers, their motivating aspirations, desires. So when you work with any amount of prospective patients, you're going to know that each one of them is individual and why they make decisions is going to be very different for each one. So every communication that I have, I need to custom tailor that experience. As your business grows, it's critically important that you base your communications off the patient success journey. That's why I stress so much that marketing, sales, retention goes back to your patient success journey, and you shouldn't do marketing and sales and pricing and all this kind of stuff until you have that established. So really what you're trying to do here is you're trying to craft communication. You're trying to craft the next best step for that prospective patient or past patient to be able to take. And you give them opportunities to engage in a conversation that is specific to them as an individual, which is why CRMs help, which is why the patient success journey, specific psychological trigger offers and marketing and intent-based targeting is so critical important. You're giving them an individual choice whether or not they're going to engage. Some days they're going to, some days they're not going to. But the key here is that you're giving them a one-to-one approach and you're custom tailoring it. If someone's opting in for knee pain, all the communications should be focused on addressing that. We don't want to have generalized communications because that's going to create less of an overall congruency in your marketing message, sales process, and that kind of thing. If the person has knee pain and the practitioner comes in, oh, well, what brings you in today? That starts to break the communications and will build mistrust, and people just don't feel as good. Moving into kind of the new economy, so to speak, with recessions and inflation and all this kind of stuff, people are looking for more of this community culture-based environment, and they're going to start pulling away from larger corporations. There's a lot of mistrust. People want to feel more included in community, and you're already starting to see that transition. Creating that one-to-one approach is really, really key. And at the end of the day, I'm guessing you don't need tens of thousands of patients to reach your business goals in the next, 6 months, a year or so. Maybe you only need 50, 80, 100, 250. It's not really that much in the grand scheme of things. It's 1, 2, maybe 5 to 10 new one-to-one relationships that you develop each day, each week, that will pool over time in order to being able to help you build relationships with people. And really, when you're looking at ads, you're not buying leads, you're really buying relationships. And it's the nurturing of those relationships that are going to convert. So we don't necessarily want to, as much as perception gets, flood 150 new patients in the next week, because the reality is, we've all seen those ads and that kind of stuff. Hey, 500 patients this week. The reality is that you're not going to really have a successful business, because how are you going to fill and service all those people? How are you going to treat them one-to-one and that kind of thing? Again, it doesn't require require a 5-figure, marketing budget every single month, or, maxing out credit cards, join some desperation-driven program that's going to guarantee these results, and the agencies and that kind of stuff that we see. But it's really about developing the one-to-one relationships, getting clear on your messaging, and creating a unique experience, nurturing the relationships that's going to get patients to stay, pay, and refer, while you eventually become completely disassociated from the other businesses that are in your area, because you've got clearer messaging, you've got more preeminence, you're speaking to the individuals on a deeper level, intent-based, targeted, and psychological triggers, and you're going to get more people coming in. Now, I know that there's a good likelihood here that my suggested approach isn't the most exciting, breakthrough, sexiest thing, but the practitioners that I work with that implement these concepts before they start trying to mass market and whatnot, really what I call setting the foundations, are the ones who are growing month after month using these simple strategies. They're getting ideal patients, they're building their confidence with their sales processes, their profitability is increasing, their revenue is increasing, and they're working at a reasonable pace while being able to create their own market within their community. So I can guarantee that the same processes, if you're implementing them, are going to be able to work for you too. So if you want to beat the big guys, you want to beat people who have been around longer, have more experience than you, do what they're not going to do. Focus on creating one-to-one relationships, building your patient success journey out, and making sure that you have congruence in your messaging, the psychological triggers, and how you're really communicating with the patients, and ultimately making a unique, unforgettable experience for them. Thanks, guys. I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Thanks.